Going into this Boise State game, I think you don't need to play a perfect game, and that's why I think we have such a solid shot of winning. Because the floor for Penn State is so high right now, the way this team is playing, and then just the glaring issue for Boise State going into this game is just a lack of talent. They have done the most with what they've got all season long, but if you look at a talent overview, Boise State has by far the least amount of blue chip prospects out of any team in the playoffs, and it's not particularly close. You want to know why? Because Boise State has no blue chip players on their entire roster. 0 former 5-stars or 4-stars on their entire team. They have 78 former 3-stars, one of which is Ashton Jeanty, and they've developed him into the number 1 player in the country. Penn State has 5 former 5-stars and 48 former 4-stars. That's 53 blue chip guys on our roster. One of the most talented programs in the country. Boise State has 0 blue chippers. So then you even just have to marvel at the fact that they're even here, right? Yeah, they've played an easy schedule. They also played Oregon really well earlier this season, in a game where I feel like they should have won in week 2. And then the conference championship against UNLV. But those are the only top 25 teams Boise has played this season. They've looked very solid, and their offense, led by Jeanty, is very good. But on defense, against a lot of weak opponents this season, Boise's defense was the clear weak side of the ball for them, especially in the red zone. Still, in the last 5 games, they haven't allowed more than 21 points. This is very similar to the Indiana and SMU situations, where you have a team that lost their only big game, but looked dominant against every other team they played. Penn State has had the best run defense in the country the second half of the season, and as of right now, our D-line looks unstoppable. The only way to keep blue and white jerseys out of the backfield is holding, which teams are doing a lot of. The refs weren't awful in the SMU game, but SMU got away with a ton of holding. If the refs decide to help Abdul Carter out and give him some calls, Boise won't move the ball at all. I'm being 100% serious when I say that if the refs in the Fiesta Bowl call holding every time it should be called, Boise might have negative yards in this game. Really, the only thing Penn State has to be super concerned with defensively is Jeanty. And if he's bottled up, then the Broncos simply won't score many points. For the offense, they're going up against a Boise defense that was porous this season. Tyler Warren will be a matchup problem for them, simply because they have nobody that is physically big enough and fast enough to contend with him. If the 5-stars at Ohio State and Oregon can't stop Warren, then how will the 3-stars at Boise do it? That's the question there. Then you have Wallace and Evans downfield, which should be a more utilized duo in this game than they were against SMU. How often will Evans be open downfield, right? Will Aller be able to hit him? That's been a very good connection at times this season. Our run game continues to carry us, but only when we have a lead. Aller has to be the catalyst for our offense early on, and I desperately want to score a touchdown on our first drive of the game. Is that too much to ask for? If we can get an early touchdown, it sets the tone for the rest of the game, and maybe even the rest of the playoffs for us. Alright, you've been waiting for it. My prediction, Penn State 35, 7 for Boise State. I just see our defense bottling up Jeanty. I see the offense being able to move the ball. I really hope this is one of those games where Aller is just feeling it and gets some confidence back and really starts rolling going into our biggest games of the year. I see us winning it. I see us going to the semifinals and taking home a win in the Fiesta Bowl.